Ever feel like you're about to yell and it's like you're watching it happen, but you can't stop it? And it's not just frustration, it's like something is taking over your whole body and you're watching yourself and you feel the emotion suddenly taking all over. And you tell yourself, even don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And yet you can't stop it anyway. And the worst part is, this is where everyone tells you to just stay calm, but nobody shows you how to do that in real time. And afterwards, you feel like a failure because these parenting tools just don't seem to work, even if you really, really want to change it and you really want to break the generational patterns for your kids. Hi, my name is Linda, and as someone who struggled so much to stay calm and was so confused why it was so hard to break the cycle for my kids, I now help other moms break the cycle for good so they can respond instead of react. In my last videos, we talked about why toddlers are so triggering to us and why we react in the way we react. But today I want to show you how to interrupt it so it doesn't turn into yelling. The part that most moms overlook is that when the moment arrives where you start to yell, it's already too late. So in case you are wondering, well, what just happened there? I can tell you what happened. My 14-month-old woke up from his nap, and at the moment he just leaves me about 2 hours. Sometimes when I'm lucky, it's 3 hours before he wakes up, and I can do all the things that I want to do and need to do, especially the things where I cannot have a 14-month-old trying to do everything with me. So I interrupted my video, and now almost 12 hours later, I'm back to recording. And so much about trying to have makeup ready and trying to look good for the camera. So, you know what, guys? We're just going to work with this. Okay, so much better. Okay, so back to important part. The part that most moms overlook is that when when the moment arrives where you start to yell, it's already too late to do something about it, because this is actually not where it starts. It may feel like that, like, oh, all of a sudden I started yelling. That's how it was for me. I was always like, oh my gosh, now here I am yelling again and I cannot do anything about it. And that is right. When we reach that point, it's pretty much impossible to change something, because it's not the start, it's actually the peak of our reaction. At that point, our body already went into fight or flight, completely shut down. So it's similar to when our kids have a meltdown, because when they have a meltdown, there is nothing we can do in that moment. Like, we cannot just say like, hey, you know what? Do you remember what we talked about? And just calm down. It does not work that way. They're too worked up. They're all in the emotional state and brain. So it's too late at that point. And the same is true for ourselves when we reach the point. So if we want to do something, there is markers, there are signs that our body sends us that we're getting close to that point, and that is where we need to start that process. Okay, so it did not feel right to just sit here in my everyday shirt after I tried to look nice at the beginning of the video. So I decided to change real quick, even if I don't know if I like that shirt, but that's a different topic. Okay, so there's actually signs that we are getting close to the point where we are about to yell or snap or react in a way that we don't want to react. So it's about recognizing that moment and starting the process there. So I want to take you guys through a 5-step process that I use for myself anytime I notice I'm getting worked up. So I don't even get close to yelling, and I can actually respond in a way that I want to respond. So let's get through this. The first step is notice. And what happens here is usually the process starts with a reaction in our body. Like we talked about it already a little bit, is there's when we about to yell, our body is kind of taking over, because there's some deep reaction that we have to what's happening, usually based on what happened to us when we were kids. And so it's a very intense reaction that we have, and it's our body taking over. So when we say notice, it's about noticing what happens with your body. Maybe you notice your shoulders are getting tight. Maybe you notice your hands. Maybe you notice suddenly your thoughts are racing. Maybe you notice that your jaw is clenched. So this is the first step. Notice and just be aware. Oh, okay, I feel it. I feel it in my body. For me, it's also noticing. Actually, let me tell you this. I had this actually quite recently that I was in the kitchen. I was doing the dishes, and I had both of my kids with me. One is 6 years old. The other one is 14 months old. And so both of them wanted attention. I was trying to clean up either before or after dinner, don't remember, not important. And suddenly I felt it. I felt my back. I felt my hand getting tense because all the stimulation, everything was just too much. It was just so much. I couldn't handle it anymore. And in that moment, I also noticed that my brain was telling me all the things that were wrong. Like, you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to clean up and the laundry, and you wanted to prepare this for tomorrow, and you wanted to work and record videos because that's very important for me to get the message out, right? But it's sometimes hard to keep up with it and all the good stuff. So it's like my mind telling me all these things. So it's not only the body for me, it's also my mind. And that's where I know, okay, now it's time for me to go through this process so that I don't overreact, so that I don't start yelling or snapping at my kids, which I absolutely don't want to do because they don't deserve it. And they are not the reason for that reaction. So I don't want to give them that reaction, right? Okay, so that's step one. Notice what's going on in your body. Then step two is name it. And it can be very simple. It can be very simple as like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. There's so much going on. I don't know what to do next. Whatever feels good for yourself, whatever comes up in that moment, that is the right thing. Then the third step is normalizing. It's okay, it's been a long day. Just normalizing and also naming and then normalizing both of these steps send a signal to ourselves that one, we create some distance between it. It's not anymore just in us. We verbalize it because either you can say it out loud or you can just say it in your head. Both works, depending what you feel comfortable with and what you want to do in the moment. Personally, I often just do it in my head. But by normalizing, you put it into perspective. Of course, you're overwhelmed. Like, there's noise and constant demands and all these questions, and someone is talking to you all the time, and you're trying to do things for everyone else and trying to do things for yourself and trying to stay sane in the process. And this, it's just so much. So of course you feel that way. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's normal. It's okay. So that's the third step, normalizing. By the way, I have a Facebook group where I share more free tools and more information about to address your triggers, how to work with your cycles so you support yourself with your body and in a holistic way, if you want to see it this way. And I also share a guide where I've written down all of these steps. So if you would like to have that guide, if you want to have additional support, I invite you to join me in this Facebook group so you can get continuous support and so you can actually show up as the mom you want to show up as and stop reacting and instead start responding. The link is in the description below. So, first step, noticing. Second step, naming. Third step, normalizing. And then the fourth step is resetting, which means to take some deep breath. Breath is the easiest way to reset our body. And it's also something that most of us don't do right because most of us, when we go through the day, we just take shallow breaths. So take deep breaths. And the goal here is to take longer exhales than inhales, because that sends a signal to our bodies that we are safe. Because when we are panicked, when we are anxious, when we are worried, when we are fearful, we have like these short, like quick breaths that don't go really deep. So if we do the opposite, it sends the signal to our body, okay, we're safe, we're fine, we can do this, it's all good. Okay, so I recommend 3 counts in and 6 counts out. So, and then out. Still haven't figured out how to breathe and tell people how to breathe at the same time, but I think you got the point. At the same time, if you noticed in the first step, oh, it was the shoulders that are tense, or the jaw that was clenched, or you noticed how you were just holding all the tension in your belly, then also with the breath, release that intentionally release that, which means you breathe in and out. Go and drop those shoulders and let go of the tension in your hands. And that allows you to come back into you. It tells you you're safe, it's all fine. And then the last step, step 5, is the next step. And for the next step, I recommend something simple. Something simple that is changing the environment, because it helps to break that pattern from that overwhelmed, I'm ready to lose it state, to, oh, okay, we're doing something different. And it can be something very simple. It could be as simple as putting your hand on your heart. It could be that you say, you put in some music. That's what I like to do. So, for example, the other night, when I had that moment and I went through the process for myself while I was doing the dishes, I turned on some music. And first, I turned on some music for myself. Actually, on my channel, I put together a playlist of songs that I like to play in moments like that when everything feels too much. So, if you want to play that playlist, feel free to do that. If you have other songs to go to, great as well. And I put on the song and I danced a little bit. I danced a little bit because that helped me just be like, you know what? It's not that bad. It's all good. Of course, I'm overwhelmed, and this is just the phase of life I'm in right now. It's really chaotic. Um, and so it's fine. And then I just put on music that I know my 6-year-old loves. And it's so fun because then he starts to dance, and the little guy is joining us, and it's just so cute when he wobbles around. And we're just having fun. And so we're switching from, oh my gosh, this is so tense, and I don't know what to do, to, hey, we're having fun and we're just enjoying the moment. And so this process takes probably 30 seconds. Maybe if you want to take a little longer, it could take a minute, 5 minutes. At the end, you can make it as long as you want to, but it can be done as quickly as 30 seconds, and it will change the vibe and change your state completely. So, little side note, when you start to use this process, it probably is not going to look perfect at the beginning. At the beginning, it might look like maybe you say less. Maybe you stop yourself a little bit earlier than usually. Maybe it works one time and the next time not at all. But you're aware of where you could have stopped yourself. I want to remind you that all of that is part of the learning process. All of that is okay, because we're not going for perfect here, we're going for better here. And as long as you show up with the intention of doing better and learning, and you're okay with wobbling like a little toddler, and sometimes it works and sometimes not so good, and sometimes you fall on your butt and you want to cry, that's all fine. That's all part of the process. So I don't want you to get discouraged, because you're changing something that's sitting very deeply within you. So of course it takes some time. So I just wanted to give you that reminder, because I don't want you to think like it has to work perfectly from the start, because it might and it might not, and both is fine. At the end, this isn't about never getting triggered again, because life is sometimes overwhelming, it's scary, it's surprising, it's too much.
And so you will get triggered. It's not about that, it's about how you respond to it, and not trying to change it in the moment, but actually catching it earlier. And as you do this more and more and you get used to it, you actually start to program a new response so that you actually can utilize the tools that you already know so you can show up as a different parent. And if you want more support, like I said, I invite you to join me in the free Facebook group. And if this video has helped you, I am excited to see you in the next one, where I walk you through how to identify your triggers so that those moments don't feel so intense in the first place. And if this video was helpful, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. I see you soon.